Mga kapatid, yung tinanong po natin, ano po ba yung implication ng bagong santo sa ating buhay? Itatanong po ng karamihan, matagal na yung nangyari. What does it mean to us in our time now? Maliban siguro sa iba na may balak pumuntang Roma on October 21 para man lang mag-witness ng canonization, and of course, for some who after that might want to go on a pilgrimage to other places. Yung para sa atin, whether we can go there or not, mahalaga po yung kahulugan ng buhay ni San Pedro Calungsod for all of us. Una, it makes us realize the importance of faith. We said a while ago, this is the year of faith. Kaya po nga, for all of us, the death and eventually the canonization of our own Saint Pedro Calungsod makes us realize the value of faith. Faith is first of all our awareness, our belief that God has come to us, proclaimed the good news of His plan of salvation, and proclaimed the good news that indeed we are all God's children. And therefore, when we open our hearts to God, when we say to Jesus, welcome into our lives. Sabi po ng Pisipito, when we tell God, tuloy po kayo sa aming buhay, this is faith. And we know that this is very important. We heard the good news, we believed in God, we open our hearts, and therefore God becomes now the center of our lives. This is faith. And therefore we confess that we need God. Sabi po nga ng ating Santo Papa, when we believe that we need God, we need Him not only in bad times, but also in good times, then this makes a difference in our life. Kaya po, tayo who believe in God, we realize how blessed we are to have been gifted faith. Importante po yung faith sa buhay natin. Pangalawa po, we who receive the faith are also encouraged, are also exhorted, we are also tasked to share the faith. Yung dating, hindi na lang basta tumanggap tayo, itago na lang natin yung ating faith. No? This is what happened to San Pedro Calungsod. Even as a little boy, he realized how important it is to share the faith with other people. Kaya nga po, whether priest or religious or layman, lahat po tayo are encouraged, are tasked to share the faith. Kaya nga, we realize that this is an important implication of the life of Pedro Calungsod for all of us. At kung pag nilay-nilayan po natin, lalo na tayo sa Pilipinas, we should also realize na yung dalawang naging santo, yung unang pinarangalan po sa altar, they are lay people. Kung tingnan po natin, hindi kardinal, hindi arsobispo, hindi obispo, hindi pare. No? Lay people, San Lorenzo Ruiz, San Pedro Calungsod. This should make all of us, and in particular, lay people realize, bakit nga kaya no, yung unang pinarangalan sa altar are lay people? To us, bishops and religious, yung message para sa amin is, matagal na kasi pag sinabi we proclaim the faith, akala ng karamihan yung magpo-proclaim lang yung pari, yung obispo, yung madre. Ngayon, sinabi, nauna pa nga yung lay people sa altar. It's because they proclaim the faith through their own life, and in particular, in the case of Lorenzo Ruiz and Pedro Calungsod, through their own death. Kaya nga, no, this is a very important message and certainly realization for all of us. Sasabihin natin, hindi lang ito trabaho ng pare, ng madre, ng obispo, but this is the work of every Christian. We have received the faith, we have also the responsibility, the duty to share the faith. Papaano po? No? Sabihin ng karamihan, yung naging Santo Martyr, yes, this is a gift from the Lord, but we know also for a fact that the way to proclaim the gospel is not only through death. In fact, our life is the best proclamation of the gospel. Many popes have reminded us, living a good, holy Christian life is the best way for all of us to proclaim the good news. Madalas po sabihin, today's world listens more to witnesses than to teachers. And if they listen to teachers, it is because they are witnesses in the first place. Yung sinasabi, mas malakas yung epekto ng ating gawa kaysa ating salita. No? This is witnessing. And we are aware of the many people, lalo na siguro karamihan natin mga kapatid. No? Akala nila, they're just in other places to work. Yes, but when they work and work with diligence, when they work and they become honest, when they work and they become witness to brotherhood, to friendship, to the many other human values, this is witnessing to the gospel message. We had been to many places, and we have seen how many of our sisters and brother Filipinos, besides working in their spare time, or I should say, they give time to gathering for prayer, they give time to participate at the liturgy. And in many places, we are very happy to note and to be thanked that many of our sisters and brother Filipinos make the liturgy more alive, more active. They made their presence felt through the way they pray and the way they relate with other people through their apostolate. It's not only, of course, we sisters and brother Filipinos, anybody we mentioned a while ago, all people of goodwill, to the extent that we live a decent human life, a life of friendship, of love, of service. We witness to the Christian value. Para po sa atin, yung message ng mga santo is most effective and actually is also being lived out by all of us. Yun nga yung sinasabi natin, what is the message of Pedro Calungsod? We said, to the extent that we give value to our faith, to the extent that we believe that what we have received from the Lord, we have the duty to share with other people. To that extent, the message of Pedro Calungsod becomes very, very meaningful. Of course, both people in other places and here, we do not need to look far. No? Just look at our own circumstances to the extent that we do our work to the best of our ability, to the extent that, I repeat, we relate with other people like true brothers and sisters. We witness to the Christian values, especially of the gospel. As a last point, gusto ko lang sabihin, kasi sinasabi nga sa atin, we are a people who live in a culture of pleasure, at sometimes kung mahirap, akala natin, they no longer obliged. Yung martyrdom is also a reminder, if our saints suffered difficulties and pain and often offered their life, sana nga po, if it is the demand of love, sana nga po, huwag natin takbuhan yung mga sakripisyo. There will be demands of sacrifices. There will be demands of heroism. There will be demands that we would be asked not just to do what is easy, but also to do what is difficult. Sana nga po, that could be a lesson. Kasi in a renewal and in the desire to make our community grow, we still admire people who do good things, even to the extent of making a few sacrifices. Sana nga po, this to becomes a lesson for us. So, sa ating lahat po, bakit ginagawa natin ito? Kasi po yung Lent, at the center of Lent, at the time of the Holy Week, we see one great man who is also the Son of God, who offered the supreme sacrifice on the cross. Yung bunga po ng sakripisyo, alam po natin, it is a life. Yung bunga po ng sakripisyo is joy. Yung bunga po ng sakripisyo would be blessings for many people. Kaya nga po sana yung ating sakripisyo magbubunga ng maraming biyaya, lalo na sa mga taong mahal sa ating buhay. God bless you all, and may Jesus, whom we worship and adore, be a source of blessing for all of us.